What is going on? This is Jamathan. Just going to do a volume 4 strategy session on the newest map, Castle. I had a few requests for it, and I thought it's just good to have a, continue doing what we're doing and have a visual and audio description of the strat. I do think a lot of you are aware of what we're doing, but it's always good to see it and, discuss it in detail. So I'm going to go over terminology of what things are called, and break into strat, and then break into some tips, angles, things that I've seen, played against, and deployed myself. So, okay, without further ado, let's go into terminology. So, as you see here, I try to pick stuff that's straight to the point, that everyone knows what is being referred to. This is whatchamacallit. This was a screenshot of what I've put out on Discord. We pretty much have upper area over here, lower area is pretty much over here, and it's just pretty simple. This upper area is just a little higher up, and this is lower, so it's pretty clear where, if we're talking about a certain area. Then you got 3 ways to cross if you're just walking it. You got this pipe bridge up here, you got the beacon bridge, straight to the point because there's the beacon on it, pipe bridge because it looks like a pipe, and then you got the mid bridge. I think it's just the fastest way to call it. And then, if you ever have to call it, this would be the pipe next to mid-bridge, the ramp going upper, and then pretty much the sniper spot, the initial sniper spot over here. So, quick terminology, I think that's straight to the point. Okay, so going into, there's not a map. I scoured the internet. There's not a map of a good clear map so far that I could find of Castle. So, using the Beacon Rush map, I think it's the clearest and most accurate to the point. I didn't want to use something a fuzzy screen. So obviously over here to the left, blue is our home. What we're doing is pretty much a 4-2. You can technically call it a 3-1-2, but I don't want to get too fancy. Let's just say 4-2. 4 guys going bridge and 2 guys going upper. So you got 1, and then you got 2, right? 1 guy has to cap a beacon. Then the 4 guys going to bridge. I like, if we can, have 1 guy initially in his Fury something. Fury Dragoons, Fury, or Scourges, or even his a Tulu Spectre or something. Then you pretty much got 3 guys going this way. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's a push and pull concept. If these guys only send 1 or 2 this way, I like to play upper because I can help direct traffic a little bit lately. But if they send 2, these 2 guys take their time, and what happens is there's so much action here, the attention gets taken this way a lot. And if that happens, I'm going to slowly walk across bridge. Some of the successful players I've had successful with Pats and Trav and Metal up here already, and Som I think too. And then we'll slowly, he might jump over, there's some cover, and we start pressuring this. And then what happens is these guys like, oh, what's going on here? We got to come over here. And then that frees up these guys to maybe sit on this beacon longer or even push. So it just reading the defense, and we're creating this battle line. This is the initial battle line that we want if we get C, and if we can push it up, taking slack off bridge, because bridges can be tough to, they get cornered, because as Sand puts it, you're just trolling under bridge if you're not pushing out. It's a lot. So this guy back here, he's giving a lot of cover to these guys here. That's why he's important. Now, I know we have variations. Rep had told me he likes to push up here with his Bulwark Avengers, and he says he's really successful at it. That's fine. We don't always have to have someone back here, but it's ideal, because one thing that happens is it gives 2 angles to the attack. If everyone goes here, then all they have to do is focus on 1 angle. Having an extra angle always helps. Also, another thing you guys should know is when this Fury Dragoon is back here. I know it can be boring, but it's needed. You can hit 500-600s. You can hit about right here. All right. I'm gonna save this very quick. It's getting messy, but um, if a Fury Dragoon's here, he can hit like this whole area, okay? And a big attribute for Fury Dragoon being back there is if we've got guys down here, it forces any light to no shielded bots to start using their ability once they start getting into this open area. That's very important because you don't want them to be able to walk all the way to ramp and then use their ability. That's a huge disadvantage to our guys in bridge. So that's why when I'm up here on down here on ramp covering bridge, I start spamming at them. It's like, hey, you better start using your ability. And if they start using their ability, then I'll back up into this little nook closet and try to wait it out a little bit, and then, you know, I create my own fight. But if I get support, that's huge because it forces them to use their abilities faster, especially specters, especially pursuers, hellburners, anything with a stealth ability, you know, gives our guys that bridge time. That's a huge, you know, that's so important. All right. So I have a few things saved. So this is what it looks like from, you know, I took a screenshot in game from my hover. um, the sniper spot initially is, let me see, the sniper spot initially is over here. All right. And we got two guys, you know, going upper. They're usually here, and one guy grabs this and maybe goes here or tucks behind here, something like that. So this is just what it looks like. If you didn't know, you can jump over this with the Inquisitor, Spectre, Mercury. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this. Let me keep going here. This was the screen, but it was a partial screen, so I couldn't use it very clearly. Okay, so that's pretty much it. A 4-2 split. Remember, it's a push and pull between upper and lower. Next, I'm going to go into a few tips. Let's start with upper. So when you're pushing upper, if you're one of the two guys, and there needs to be no more than two, because I think two can hold it. One thing about why I called it a 4-2 is the guy that's a Fury Dragoon or Fury whatever, or Bulgasari Scourge or Toulouse, whoever's spotting bridge, he's the flex guy. He's the flex, the rogue, the sniper. Those terminologies I would call him in my mind. He's the one that can come upper if upper needs help to give an extra man, but that's only if they're full out rushing, and typically most enemies that we've run into don't rush upper. So okay, so let me see if I have a good screen. So this is me walking across Pipe Bridge. I was just walking around. These are all screens I took during in the custom matches. When you're walking across bridge, let me see if I can shrink this. When you're walking across bridge, you have a few options. If you're in a pursuer or specter, you want to push when there's only one or two guys because it takes pressure off bridge. It's important you don't just sit back. That's my only concern if I'm not playing upper. You guys hopefully will recognize it. And do it together. Don't do it one at a time. Wait for each other if one of you dies. So push here. I like to tuck behind here. The only danger is it's a very small spot that you can start getting shot up from center. Alright? But the great thing about it is now they have to recognize, crap, this guy's across bridge. We got to be careful. Now, a cool thing that a lot of teams do, if you have a speedy bot, especially the pursuer, or if you got a Spectre or Mercury and you make it across, if they're all just camping back here and they're like, oh man, someone's moving up, and now you got three, one thing I like to do is just fall down this little cliff here, you know, buying some time for your ability if you're on regen on your ability, and you can kind of like get up here and, in my opinion, target the snipers. It's a good opportunity to attack snipers. It's just a general 101. Whenever you can take out a sniper on a long map, on a larger map, do it. That's number one target. Go after one of those guys and you can kind of wreak havoc. Maybe the bridge guys have pushed up and you can meet them up over here. So don't forget about that. If not, you know, don't settle for this right away. Try to stay up here and create the pressure, create your own battle line with the other guy. Alright? Let's see, a few more things I've saved. My screen's not swiping. Okay. The other guy, common spot on upper is to play behind this orange screen. It's very common. It's not a bad idea to do. It's a visual, so they actually see you, this way, and your teammates over here, that's the one I just showed you, and it's a two-prong effort to push. And if it's not the right time to push, then wait, because if anything, you're drawing attention over. It frees up the guys at bridge to push up. So that's what I do, and I have a lot of success when I play upper like this. It's a two-man effort, and you don't get much help, so you guys have to be smart. If you can't take it, back up and try to get as much out of your bot as possible. Don't try to just suicide and do something reckless if you don't have to. If they force your hand, then that's fine. So I think that's about it for upper. The only other thing I wanted to show was the first screenshot. When you're assaulting upper, if you see here, excuse me, if you see here, I think it's just a cool little trick. It's not like you have to have it, but there's a spot up here. Usually things are getting pretty hot up here, like you're fighting, but if you have the time and you're an inspector or something jumping, you can jump up here and cover this somehow, or wait for your ability to regen and sneak attack someone or something. So that is just a tip I wanted to share. I know about upper you might not have known about. So okay, the other thing is just the bridge. Got some images on the bridge and just wanted to share. So this is the sniper spot. If this is the wall, I know everyone should probably be aware, but our sniper, or rogue, or flex player from the get-go, this is the area where you're giving cover. You're giving cover and you're firing at this spot here, so these enemies have to use their ability at this point. So they can't walk all the way down here and use their ability. So that's one of your big main tasks. You want to hit them as they're going here. You want to soften them up for our guys at bridge. Alright, you don't want them to have it for free. Last thing we want is for them to be able to just walk up the bridge without doing anything, without using any of their ability. So another thing, Metal Maniacs does this to a lot. It's not necessary, but they're the pipe next to middle bridge. If you can get a sniper up here, a Scourge, a Tulu, a Avenger on defense, if it's a heated battle and they just keep winning bridge, this is when we're losing bridge, I would say come up to here if you have Rocket Splash. And you gotta, this is a great angle to shoot here. The guys, Metal Maniacs did it to us once, and I don't know how they got it, but a Fury got up here free. Alright, it must have been back and forth. It's hard to hide here because they can splash damage you to a certain extent. So while you're being forced back here, it doesn't allow them to just sit up at ramp for free, and it's a two-prong effort with the guy up here hiding behind this rock and pushing. So if we're having trouble taking bridge and you're the sniper, for example, try to see if you can move up here if it's a close contested race on the beacons and we're not winning bridge. So that's another way to try to push up, especially if it's around the 5-minute mark, 5 to 6 minute mark, and you're still in your Fury. If you're sitting back giving cover, you need to start pushing up and using your bots, because the guys that have been pushing are losing and they're running low on bots. So you gotta push up, create an opportunity, and if you go down, that's fine, because you still have all your bots. You still have 5 bots. So that's one spot that I think is interesting. Oh, also, I think we all saw this, but in a video, Metal Maniacs or KOH did it to us, but from a Strider, you can zip into here from over here. That's not as dangerous on Domination. That is a little dangerous on Beacon Rush if that's a faster way to get there quick. On Domination, if a Strider wants to come into the battle down here, they're more than welcome to, because the Strider's main attributes is its speed and kiting bots around, not power exchanges. So typically they're not gonna, it's not a for sure win. So just know that trick is there and you don't get surprised. So I guess I'll talk about this one. This is me under the bridge trolling, as Sand likes to call it. Very clever, Sand. when a bot is coming down, you're waiting on your ability, this is the best spot to kind of like shoot them at. They're vulnerable, they can't really jump. If they're coming down from a jump, you're waiting their ability out. If you got halos like on your pursuer or something, you can stealth them here. If you didn't know, you have to be on the same level to spam each other. It's harder for the guy on the incline as well. So here, if he's coming down, I can just lock him down and start firing. He's the most vulnerable. He should have been taking fire from any of your guys giving ranged cover. So he's already beat up on his way down here. You know, I like to, if I'm in my Mender, if I'm in my Pursuer, if I'm in a Spectre, if you need to buy time, back into this corner here, and then, you know, go back and forth and try to fire. And hopefully you have another teammate and you guys are teaming up down here or whatnot. So, one more tip. I don't have the good angle on this screen, but you should know. I don't think it's very necessary, but if you have a Hellburner, just sharing all the tips I know on this map. At the end of this little nook here, I've seen Yelmac do it. Not really necessary, maybe at the beginning if they're really pushing bridge. You can put your Hellburner down here right against this wall, and you can start exploding as if you beat them to bridge, if they're not like full on rushing it. Then as they're coming down, they're taking the exploding of the Hellburner, and it's a great team up if you have a Mender down here and you guys keep healing and exploding on that initial wave 1. So just another tip on that. All right. And pretty much the only other screens I have of bridge was I just wanted to show assaulting locations. I think it's self-explanatory, but it's always good to just talk about it. Assaulting locations on bridge if you have more of a mid-range bot. Obviously you have sniper's nest area behind this wall, but this rock here is a good one. This second wall is a good one, and if it's not really shown here, but there's another wall over here. And then you've got the middle pipe bridge, or not even bridge, the middle pipe catwalk thing. So you got ways to kind of advance if you're in a Scourge Bokasari and a Tulu to kind of get closer to give bridge cover if you want to get close because you feel like bridge is going to go down and you got to take him out and then go for a cap. Or if you're just pushing the battle line up. Alright? Now, one thing, I think this aerial angle is a better way to describe this is we talked about pushing upper, and if you're the guy going bridge, you can push out. Alright? Especially if they're all dead. Now, you gotta weigh if what you're doing is reckless or not, or if you got enough guys who know what to do, or if you know you got 2 Hellburners in under bridge, they're gonna push out regardless because they're not gonna be doing much. So this is another battle line. It's a smaller battle line, but it can be done. I've done it with my Pursuer, and you know, you get up right here behind this wall, this castle wall, alright? And, or this little barrack, whatever you want to call it. This tower, sorry, this tower. And if they're all in spawn back here, say they just all died, you can kind of play with this wall and play with this angle here and this angle here. And it's a great way to bait people out, especially if you have range cover. If you have a Fury back here, or he moved up already, or he's here, most of the time their first thing is, oh man, there's someone up close, we really got to get rid of him. Well, that's free shots for this guy back here, and that's what I mean when I said I'll bait him out for you. So we work on the mech up together. You know, if they come out, boom, boom, boom by Fury, and maybe a few shots from me, and we can take him out. So I'm creating a battle line, I'm being annoying, and I'm drawing attention. Usually if you get a few guys here and they're surviving, that takes a lot of attention. What do you do if you're upper? It's a good time to push, if you haven't. Push up, create here, and threaten this beacon. So you see it's a push and pull game again. We've been doing it really well, but I just want you guys to understand what's going on. It's reading defense and knowing when to push. And knowing what kind of opponent you have. If you have a tough opponent and you know it's going to be in back and forth, maybe that's not going to be maybe it's not the right call to push bridge. Sit on the bridge and get ahead on the beacon and troll it for a little bit. Maybe use the push towards the end of the game. So just understand your options, and I think that's Castle. Alright, I think I've covered as much as I can and shared as much as I can. Lastly, if you didn't know, I think everyone knows already, I think this image is the best. You can cap this beacon from down below. So another tip there. I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. Last thing is if you're pushing across bridge, or the more of the tension's down here and they got guys all over center attacking bridge, if you're upper and you got like halos or something 500 to 600 meters, this, when you start crossing, it's a great time to start nailing them. Even if you don't kill them, it's like, hey, look at me, you know, I'm crossing and I'm shooting you, and they're like, oh man, and they start looking up here, and it takes pressure because their attention is now, they're trapped in the middle. They couldn't keep their enemy in front of them. They've got enemy on both sides of them, right? And vice versa. If the guys at the top of the upper are the ones causing the tension and doing a good job pressuring, and then they start coming over, that's a good time for you guys to move out and start popping them and say, hey, look at me, I'm moving up here. So, you know, it's push and pull. It's helping because over in the center is the only areas you can really have a very good angle to pop. So when you can pop, do it, you know. So anyways, remember, if we don't have bridge, we kind of have to get into this lower, the lower area, up close by the middle bridge, and start giving shots into angle. If this is something we're having trouble getting bridge, we need 1 or 2 guys doing that, and then the other 2 can kind of be pushing bridge. We need a 2-pronged effort. So, alright, I think that's Castle. I think I've covered everything quickly, and hopefully you guys got a better idea of what we're doing. It's a 4-2, 4 guys on bridge, 2 guys upper, and that's how we're going to start out. The flex guy, the rogue, the middle guy, he has the option to go up or down. That's a really blurry image. And it's push and pull, reading the defense, pushing forward, shooting across to help upper guys or the bridge guys, and seeing where they stack. If they go for upper, that usually means this home beacon is a little bit more free. The guys at bridge can threaten it. So, alright, let me know if there's any questions. Hopefully everything's clear, and hopefully we're even more on the same page. I do like to assign, you know, who's at upper. I think just saying who's at upper makes everyone else knows, okay, I'm going bridge, or who's the sniper. I think sniper person good to assign is someone that only has 1 hanger and possibly has a fury in it. Yeah, I think it's better to be prepared on that map because it can get messy if you don't have roles, in my opinion. So anyways, that's everything, and have a good rest of your day, guys, and I'll catch you guys next time.